Whoa, Long Johnson! It's about that time. Subcommanders coming at you hot and heavy with only the most lore-friendly of alliances here on Milk and Cookies Total War, the Dark Elves, Bretonnia, and the Beastmen, the three best friends that anybody could have, testing their might and their wit against the High Elves, Lizardmen, and Empire. And in the midst of this madness about to consume Schwarzhofen, we get a look at some friends we don't get to see too often. Knights of the Stubborn Bull, German Zweihanders on horseback, riding in to ruin all over your butt, and Lord Pepe the Mummy Toad finna drop some bombs on the heads of his enemies. So, repping the south side, it's the Beastmen, Dark Elves, and Bretonnia. The Blessed Dread are led by Lokir Felhart and a Death Hag. They're playing the infantry role with Black Ark Corsairs and Harganeth Executioners. Job for them is pretty simple: wade into melee, venerate Cain, and spill blood in his name. And right off the bat, it's fair to say they should have a sizable infantry advantage with all that AP and bonus first infantry. The Beastmen are rocking a full Minobus, Morgor the Shadowgave, 2 Gorbals, and a whole bunch of Minotaurs. Very few builds please me as much as a horde of angry cows, looking like Black Friday at Walmart over here, and next to them are the Knights of Zaladi, Grail Knights, Knights of the Realm, just as you'd expect, Bretonnia controlling the Cav. Many of them starting out in Lance formation, which could be good, could be bad, depending on how it gets used. 2 Paladins and the Fae form the HQ. The Enchantress herself bringing a lot of synergy for a Knight build. Favor of the Fae and healing is a fantastic combo for Grail Knights, and I guess he has some Vanguarded Yeomen as well. For their opposition, the Imperials are the Cav, the High Elves are the ranged firepower along with the Grey Shadow Warrior Regiment of Renown, and the Lizardmen are the infantry with Gorok, Kroxagors, and Lord Croak himself in the back lines, ready to drop some seriously heavy howitzer play on the opposition. There are some Handmaidens of the Everqueen on the field as well. They'll be buffing up alongside Alathanar, trying to get these Shadow Warriors and the rest of the range play for the High Elves up into the stratosphere in terms of their ranged DPS. And for the Empire, the Royal Altdorf Griffites, Deathclaw, and Karl Franz with an Empire Captain Goon Squad on Pegasus. And below, the Stubborn Bulls, Empire Knights with great swords. They're going to do some damage with their armor piercing if they can get in and amongst the infantry. Against the Minotaurs, though, probably won't match up so well, so let's see how they get used. It's going to be a very asymmetrical battle here because the Dark Elves, Bretonnia, and Beastmen don't have any range units on the field whatsoever, besides a couple mounted yeomen. So the High Elves certainly have the range advantage here, and the big question is, can they neutralize the effectiveness of all these Black Ark Corsairs and Harganeth Executioners? They've already done some great damage to the front line. Some of those Black Ark Corsairs are down past half HP. Saurus are going to beat the brakes off of them now with their 52 weapon damage. It will be way too much for the Guardians of Lokir Felhart to deal with, but as soon as the Executioners wade into melee combat, they will be venerating Cain with those 2-handed drakes, and they can slice through hordes of Saurus all day long. So the only way to equalize that infantry fight is to blot out the sun and fight in the shade. Sorceress was completely forgotten about, got that ass torn up by bolt throwers, and Lord Pepe unleashing his wrath. But the Blades of the Blood Queen deftly maneuvered and muscled for rank, fuel burning fast on an empty tank, completely dodging the deliverance of pizza. And then they're going to turn around and make those Saurus wish they'd never been born. Really nicely played. Good micro. He'll be rewarded with glorious slaughter in the Lord of Murder's name. Yeah, they're going to tear through these Saurus super easy, and that's going to be a big deal because the center of the Saurus formation will get completely ripped out. The heart just sliced out of its chest, and the Dark Elves should be able to push through, and the hole left in its wake. Minotaurs charging into Saurus and Kroxagors. I don't think they're going to have too much fun there, to be honest. It's a lot of weapon damage going their way, but it looks like the Beastmen and Bretonnia focused a lot of their elites over on the Lizardmen left flank. They're trying to roll that entire side, get everything, all the high mobility stuff in and behind to get at the squishy High Elf center. Minotaurs are going to carve their way through Saurus from the flank. Nice charge, and if you keep them moving in a hit and run style formation, which is typically how you want to run the Minibus if you can disengage safely, then that could end up working out pretty well. But yeah, these guys, Minotaurs in the center, are getting beat up by the Kroxagor and Saurus combination. Gorok, on the other hand, is helping the Saurus out tremendously in that fight and should help them win overall. Might be able to push back Harganeth Executioners in the center. And is there a summon coming down? Looks like a Mortar Chaos Spawn summon arising from the ground just as Murderous Prowess procs. And we've got a juicy fight going down in the middle. That was a weird Penumbral Pendulum. I'm not gonna lie, that was not gonna do anything. Gotta save that for infantry formations. It does very little to cavalry when they're on the move like that. And Bretonnia and the Beastmen will respond with the Wedge Antilles formation, YOLOing right into the middle of a bunch of Saurus with spears, missing their charge bonus completely. Oh my god, someone Foot of Gork that. He'll notice it, he'll pull out, he'll disengage appropriately, just microing somewhere else. It's not easy to hold on to your micro when you're looking at two opposite sides of the battlefield and it's all quick stuff. But the Minotaurs have gotten into the Shadow Warriors. They're ripping and tearing, and they're going to shut down those High Elf archers pretty easy. Chaos Spawn getting a glorious charge, and the High Elves are already in massive trouble. I mean, the Saurus aren't holding on super well, and it looks like a lot of stuff is already getting into the back and murdering all the skirmishers. And if the range firepower all goes silent for the High Elves, then it's going to be hard for the Empire and the rest of his homies to win. I mean, think about what they have. It's Executioners and Minotaurs, stuff that you don't want to have to fight in melee if you can avoid it. You just want to shoot them down. But if you lose all your archers, well, shooting them down is going to be pretty difficult. Looks like Karl Franz and the Goon Squad finished off some Minotaurs. Now they're coming into the bubble of Nope that was dropped by Lord Croak, giving a massive ward save. And there's going to be a huge blob forming on the right flank of the Dark Elves, left flank of the Lizardmen, and some Jade Wizard. Life Magic, Gyran flowing through the winds here. Gorok beating up on some Executioners, and that Mace of Ulamak and the Shield of Eons will taste the blood of Cain. Harganeth Executioners can't take him down, not by themselves, especially when he's supported by Kroxigors, but invariably his life will get drained here. I mean, these are the elite of the elite when it comes to infantry blenders. He's gonna take some HP damage, there's no getting around it. Kroxigors are just sending Executioners flying left, right, and center. Glorious to behold. Lokir Fellheart is a dreaded duelist, and his HP pool is looking much safer as he charges in. That's a deliverance of pizza. Good night, Bleak Swords, 50 of them, just insta-jibbed. That's what Croak can do when you're not on your toes. That's gonna break open that entire flank completely. Was just Bleak Swords, would rather be casting that on the Blades of the Blood Queen, but hell, I think he'll take that. Empire Outriders with grenade launchers, doing stuff in the back lines. Some Shadow Warriors firing in, trying to take down the Minotaurs. Mounted Yeomen. It's just mayhem. It's madness. It's carnage. There's a lot going on. The High Elves are still online. Beastmen are still online, but both sides have taken pretty tremendous casualties already, and we're only 4 minutes in. I'd say the Beastmen Alliance is looking pretty strong in this blob at the moment. They don't have the benefit of life magic or that AoE ward save from Croak, but they do have stronger units that are invested in that fight. Another deliverance goes down, and Gorok has broken Lokir Fellheart with the Red Blades of Ind, chasing after, might not let him escape. Grail Knights are circling, and the Handmaidens of the Everqueen have some sniping to do. I think she just unlocked her Red Tiger camo, took out a Grail Knight at the front of that formation. Headshot! Boom! And now all eyes turn towards the east. Lokir's on the hunt. Dreaded Duelist cuts down the Great White Lizard. The Kraken Lord and his Death Hag waifu, they're going to pile into the mosh pit alongside everybody else. This is where everything will be decided. Prince and Emperor getting wailed on by Gorbulls, Minotaurs, Empire Captains, Grail Knights, Lord Croak. It's a free-for-all. Just a straight-up mosh pit. Deathclaw just broke, but there is a Gyran Wizard, a Lore of Life caster, might have Regrowth and Earthblood to get him back into the fight. Another deliverance of Itza. Bretonnia will notice it under that bubble and decide to nope the hell on out of there. And they did so at the perfect time. That would have Shrek'd them, but they dodged it. Nicely played from Bretonnia, and he's getting a full surround off with all his wedge or lance formation cavalry. That kind of charge, if he times it well, if he gets a full surround off on Karl Franz, if he decides to land again, might be enough to finish off the opposition. Lord Croak is still alive for now. Another Earthblood, Bretonnia piling in. Oh, there could be such a juicy deliverance if he can cast it in time, but it's Cav, and Cav can dodge it relatively easily because it's about like an 8 or 10 second wind-up time when you cast. Karl Franz might actually dive back into this fight. It would surprise me considering how low he is, but he's going in. Deathclaw is going in. He sees an opportunity, maybe trying to take out Morgar the Shadow Cave. The Blades of the Blood Queen are still fighting. Empire Captain just broke off. And this can go either way, man. I will say, the Empire and Lizardmen are better suited for blobbing tactics because they have that AoE ward save and the life magic, but they just lost Lord Croak. His ghost will go join the old ones in the heavens. He's gone. So no more ward saves and no more deliverance of Itza. And I don't know, a bunch of Beastmen just broke off from the blob when Croak died, so that looked like a pretty even trade. Blades of the Blood Queen and Lokir Felheart are still fighting, but they're getting pretty low. Now Thanar is just the whole time sitting back here, sniping things out with the Moonbow of Lilith. And I think he's realizing that he's in a rather precarious position. His Shadow Warriors being run down by Grail Knights, cyclo-charging them in Lance Formation. That is a good use of Lance Formation. But with the rest of the cyclo-charging he's been doing into the blob, you don't want to be in Lance. It makes disengaging harder. It means you lose more models when you turn around. So I think you'd want to switch back to the normal formation there. It can be kind of tempting when you look at the stat line and say, oh wow, it's giving me a huge charge bonus and speed. But there are a lot of downsides to Lance Formation as well. Paladin and Alathanar are dueling, and I think the Paladin would probably win that, but I guess the Handmaid's firing in too, and she has bonus for large. Karl Franz, oh, he's getting super low, and this might be the end of the Prince and Emperor. The Electric Count of Reichland falls. Deathclaw topples on top of him, and that is the end of the Imperial leader. Jade Wizard still alive with the life magic, but a bunch of the lords have already died. The Fey Enchantress was chased off the map much earlier in the battle. I think it might just be Morgar and Althanar left alive. In terms of legendary lords anyway. I actually don't know who's going to win this fight. You would think the Paladin would be able to, but the Handmaiden, she should just come over and beat him up in melee combat. Nice grenade launcher volley. Holy balls. Did a lot of damage. And it's still dead even, almost 9 minutes in. Both sides have a puncher's chance. Nobody has been able to mess up Morgar the Shadow Cave. I mean, he's still full HP, that regen. And he's just a tanky beast. He is a tanky beast indeed. Empire captains are trying to goon up on him. Royal Altar of Griffites and the rest of the Demigryph Knights with halberds, retreating behind the safety of the Saurus with spears, and that will be a nightmare combination for the Grail Knights to try to take down. So at this point, I'd say the Empire, Lizardmen, and High Elves have the mobility advantage. There's still some random yeomen running around, but they really can't do a whole lot. Grail Knights are probably going to be able to finish off the Shadow King, though. Dylan Sprouse is completely surrounded. There's the Handmaiden there, too, helping out, and she does have that bonus for large, so she's helpful. But I think if the Grail Knight... Oh, there are two Handmaidens. Okay. Yeah, they don't want to fight that. That's a good disengage for sure. Run away. If it was one Handmaiden, I'd say probably just stay there, get a full surround off on her, and kill her. They're going back in, but they might be going after the Shadow King himself and not so much worried about the Handmaidens. The Paladin is going after him. He's got 87 HP left. If the Shadow King goes down here, could be a big swing. He has more to give. Actually, no, he's out of ammunition, so he doesn't have any more to give. He is actually pretty useless, except for the balance of power at this point. And the Grails, yeah, they're not going to show any mercy. They're going to run him down. And Bretonnia, well, they're well known for beating up on the High Elves in their particular matchup. But the crushing mass of bodies, it seems to be trending the way of the Imperials. Their gods smile on them. Can you say the same? Saurus Spears, Demigryph Knights with halberds, and the Empire captains are pushing back the tides of Beastmen and Bretonnia. And honestly, it's not even tides at this point. It's a slow trickle. Grail Knights charging in. They cannot beat Demigryph Knights with halberds, not with the numbers they have, not when they're supported by Imperial captains. Grail Knights breaking off from the crush. Morgar and Lokir Felheart fighting back-to-back, so Lokir is still alive. Red Blades of End and the Kraken Helm, giving him some regen and survivability in melee. But the Handmaiden is hunting, and this Grail Knight charge might be the last chance Bretonnia has to turn this in the favor of Bretonnia, Beastmen, and the Dark Elves. Handmaiden gonna get one more attack into the butt of this poor horse, and he'll fall. I don't even know if there was an animation that played there. Nice rear charge. Now the Grail Knights are surrounded. There's a lot of mass to pin them in place. Jade Wizard giving everybody healing, and it's looking like the mayhem will end with an Imperial victory, barring some kind of miracle. The infantry and cav combination is just going to be too much for the Beastmen Alliance. And the Beastmen are dead. Minobus, didn't have a fantastic time that battle, to be honest. And I'm a little bit surprised, because they got into the High Elf archers, the biggest threat to them, no question, besides Coral Frowns and the Demigryph Knights with Halberds. They shut down those archers pretty quick. But the Minotaurs just didn't have... I mean, they did okay, for sure. Maybe more cycle charging was required, I don't really know, but Dutch Skink and the Minobus just did not get a massive amount of kills when you look at how much killing power there is wrapped up in those units, and it's mostly because they're just not that survivable. But the fact that the archers weren't able to fire into them that much that battle means I'm a little bit surprised at how comparatively average they did overall. Not So Casual Gamer and the Dark Elves, well, they're Hargoneth Executioners and the Black Ark Corsairs. They did some work for sure. Take a look at their Blades of the Blood Queen in a second. Coral Frowns, yeah, those Demigryph Knights with Halberd, they carried the day, I think. Stubborn Bulls did pretty poorly, 24 kills, but they weren't really in and amongst the right target. They needed to be in those Executioners or in the Black Ark Corsairs to do a lot of damage. They were fighting large targets, which is not really where they thrive. But yeah, the Demis, both of them over 100 actually. Royal Altaf Guards did great. The Grenade Launchers did really well too. Not So Casual Gamer, yeah. So Blades of the Blood Queen, Executioners, all of them actually got over 100 kills. Their infantry did really good. The casting, not so great. The sorcerers kind of got left in range of the Grey and Bolt Throwers, so they got messed up. Handmaidens did pretty well. Althanar got a lot of kills too. Shadow Warriors got shut down a little bit earlier than I think the High Elves would have liked. And the Bretonnian Cavalry didn't do poorly, but I think he did himself a disservice staying in Lance formation that entire battle. It is great for the charge bonus. It's great for the stat bonuses and the speed, but in your ability to disengage, which is just as, if not more important than all of those other things, because you need to cycle charge with them, it can be kind of a detriment. So I don't think you want to stay in Lance formation the entire battle. It was an interesting Subcommanders, for sure. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you to Dutch Skink for sending that one in. I'll see you guys next time.